What's up, guys? So today I want to briefly talk about complimenting a girl. In my opinion, I think complimenting a girl should only be done when you are sure of the relationship between you guys. So you don't want to say any sort of compliment physically about her physically, unless of course it's either in a very friendly way, like friend-zoned way, or you can pile on the sweetness, but only when it's clear to a certain extent where you guys are, because otherwise you get into these awkward situations, as I'm pretty sure most of you guys could imagine, where maybe you say something too over the top about her physical attractiveness, or you could just say something very general like you look lovely, and it could be off the wall, especially when you're new, you've just met her, or you've only known her for a semester or a year at school. It can be very awkward when you're in that sort of mushy, uncertain relationship, and that's sort of how it always is with people of the opposite gender you're meeting for like the first year, or maybe even the first 4 or 5 years, depending on if you see each other often and so forth. And I would say the only exception would be if you don't care if it screws up, and that's hard to deal with because a lot of people care. And don't worry, it's not something to be ashamed of or something that's bad. It's natural to care that it may ruin a relationship or it may screw up the relationship, because that can present problems in the future, especially when it's at work or it's a classmate that may affect your grades, maybe because you're in the same lab group or something or other. But again, if you're in those situations where you're not going to see that person again, or you're at some sort of bar or nightclub scene or something like that, then I guess it doesn't even matter. You can go hardcore, and if you screw up and she doesn't take it the same way, then you're probably never going to see her again. But in the daytime, or in those recurring situations where maybe not every day or every week, but you see this person every now and then, and you're just not sure, but most of the time you put these people down for the acquaintance slash friend zone slash question mark sort of thing, I would say only compliment until you're sure of something's established, where she makes it fairly clear, or one thing leads to another, and you're fairly certain as to how she sees you and how you see her. Or you can just go for it and blow it out of the house. And some people don't really care. Like, they don't really care if it's going to be awkward every week when you see that person again. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter that much, but why burn so many bridges just to get something out of it? Sometimes it's good to have a few friends. You don't want to burn every single bridge you have with every girl you meet. And sure, there's going to be girls you don't find attractive, but still you want to keep a few that you do find attractive, and don't burn those bridges, because if you do, then you may still be left pretty barren, unless you're a total beast and you have like a bajillion friends. And I guess the final point to mention would probably be, when you compliment, you can compliment in a non-physical way, and that is the sort of cheat or hack where you can do it and it won't typically screw things up. For instance, there's a huge difference between you have nice legs, or you have great looking eyes, or you look lovely today, compared to something like you're pretty smart, or you have a very vibrant personality. Okay, that's even laying it on a little bit much, but like, you're kind of funny, you're pretty funny. And so yeah, saying stuff about her personality won't exactly put you under the bus a lot of times, and sometimes it still will. So one way you can get away with it is to add a little bit of edge to it. So like say like you're kind of funny, rather than you're funny, or you're good looking but not as good looking as someone else. Don't say that, but my point is like you want to add some edge, and I'm having a hard time coming up with good examples, but something like where you're teasing her at the end, like you have decent eyes, but that's, you gotta work on going to the gym. I don't know, it's not something I really do, but it's a possible option if you maybe lay it on a little too thick and you're screwed. You're like screwed because she reacted in a way that's very clear that she did not expect it like that, and you're like, oh, I'm screwed. Then maybe you want to like, that's one way to bring it out. Some people do the I'm just kidding sort of thing, but sometimes a lot of times the girls don't believe you, and then like your relationship is screwed and awkward from there. But I think it works best with non-physical compliments that still sort of maybe end up coming off over the top when you didn't intend them to. So like, you're pretty smart, you're really smart, and then there's this awkward silence, and then you're like, shoot, what should I say? But you're not as smart as half the people in class. So you're kind of like teasing her and turning a maybe over the top compliment into something that's funny, and pushing on her and letting her know that you're not in that scenario. And it's pretty cool because a lot of these girls, they get this sort of stuff and they don't like it because these guys just don't view them as humans or on equal grounds with them. They view these girls as something above them, or some sort of idol, or they put them on this pedestal, and it makes them uneasy, and they can't be suited for a guy who can't even think of them on equal grounds, because subconsciously they're thinking, well, if this guy doesn't really even view me as on equal level, then he must think that I'm better than him, and therefore maybe I am better than him and suited for someone better than him. So the guy kind of does it for himself, but something to think about. Anyhow, I'll see you in my next video. Like, favorite, comment, share this video with your friends, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.